My name is Jeff Slagle. I'm the CTE Program Supervisor for the Putnam County School System, and I'm here today with Christina Jones. She is our dual enrollment supply chain management TCAT instructor on site at Upperman High School. And so we're doing a brief interview on early post-secondary opportunities in the Putnam County School District. And I'm going to start out with asking her a question. How can taking classes at TCAT help high school students?
Well, I think TCAT has a pretty good program when it comes to getting students ready for the real world. And we do teach some stuff from the textbook, and we go over definitions and what topics that could come up in logistics. But it's more about learning what happens in real life. I came from a business background, and I came from logistics for the last 15 years. So I have a teaching background, so they thought it would be really good to be able to teach them about logistics, but also teach them how, not just from a textbook type, but actually real world experience. So we start with the textbook, and then we talk about real life applications. And I think TCAT does a really great job of really getting students ready for what to expect in the job market.
Okay, great. So that's important from our perspective with career and technical education, because we want to learn terminology, curriculum, any type of platform, software, hardware that they would use in transportation, distribution, and logistics. But we also want them, like you said, to have that real world application so they're future ready. Because our branding now for Putnam County CTE is future ready. So next question. Who actually teaches those TCAT classes at Upperman High School?
Well, I actually teach the classes for distribution and logistics. How we go about getting instructors for TCAT is you have to have, of course, legit business experience, or you have to have real life experience in order to you have to have 3 years of experience.
Right.
And then you also have to have some sort of educational background. So different people that teach for TCAT are from different walks of life. Generally, they're going to have the know-how and skill from the real world experience, but then they have to also have the teaching background. So it just depends. We have different walks of life. People that generally teach nursing classes come from a nursing background. People who teach, we have robotics, we have welding, we have auto mechanic, and every single one of those classes are taught by people who are professionals. They're instructors. So we're teachers, but we're instructors for the college. So it's the dual enrollment. You get the high school credit, but you also get the college credit. And in doing so, I think the real life experience brings a lot to the table. They don't just choose somebody who has a teaching background and say, hey, we want you to teach this. You actually have to come from the field of that knowledge.
Right, great. So are you the only on-site TCAT instructor at Upperman High School?
No, we actually have another teacher that's there. She teaches a nursing class. She actually has several different nursing classes, and she actually came from a nursing background. So there's actually 2 of us that work from TCAT, and we have our individual classrooms. And we're part of the Upperman community, and we, go Bees. But we wear 2 hats. We're a guest in the building, so to speak, but we're actually part of the high school as well. So you have to kind of go by both guidelines.
Okay, great. So give us a little more detail from your perspective as an instructor who has that background in supply chain management and transportation, distribution, and logistics. Give us a little background on what a student needs to know if they go into a job in that sector.
Well, it is a very wide open, there's lots of different jobs, and I would say that there's not any one particular thing that they would need to know coming into the program. The variety is so wild. It is anything from receiving products in, doing inventory, to being a person who works on the transportation modes.
Right.
So we cover different modes of transportation, but we also cover the process of bringing products in from raw material all the way through the process of ordering the raw material, through manufacturing, through finished product, through transferring it or shipping it to the final destination. We also work on teamwork, how to work collaboratively together.
Yeah.
There's lots of different things in transportation. Some of it is warehousing, some of it is distribution, some of it is just understanding how purchase orders work, how people order things online, and how the whole process works. So there's a lot of business emphasis, which a lot of people don't understand that. They think it's just about moving things. Well, there's lots of bits and pieces that go into moving and the flow of not just product, but information. And so there's a lot of technical skills involved. We do some Excel spreadsheets. We learn about the different programs that are in the warehousing system and distribution centers. So there's kind of lots of different background, different technology that the student learns. And we do a lot of hands-on activities, a lot of group work activities. A lot of people will say, wow, I can't believe how much interaction you have with the students. And I'm like, okay, the whole process for TCAT it's applied. Applied means you have to know how to do it. You can't just tell me the theory behind how to create a chart, how to create a graph. You have to understand what you're looking at, what materials, what are you reading? Are you understanding what you're reading? Can you make your own chart? Can you make your own graph? And can you relay that information to other people? So we do a lot of presentations. There's a lot of hands-on activities. So if you're a hands-on learner or you're a visual learner, logistics can be really a great, place to start.
So, and also, I know dual enrollment in and of itself is an early post-secondary opportunity, but you also do 2 industry certs as well.
Correct.
Right? And what are those called? What's the name of those industry certs?
The one we call it's a CLA and a CLT. CLA is Certified Logistics Associate, and the other one is Certified Technician.
Okay.
They're both in logistics, and one is done the first year of the program. We do the different study, we gear all the way up, and then we have a huge test, and all the students take the test. Once they pass the test, then they get the certification. They get a nice little certification. We take their picture, and then they have that. And that is actually really, and then the next one they do is the second year, and that one's called.
So that's the advanced certificate.
Yes, it is. So they also have an opportunity to do Microsoft Office Suite in the third year, and I do offer some classes on Excel, and we get into formulas and how to, there's a bunch of different parts of that. I'm not currently doing the certification for that, but it's something that we're looking into as a possibility, because it is a huge part of logistics, is knowing how to read spreadsheets, how to create spreadsheets, how to use the formulas, because there's a lot of data and a lot of number crunching.
So I would think there would be a big push for that from our industry partners, Averett, Ficosa Academy. I would come to understand that would be huge for a student coming out of high school to have that stackable credential in addition to that practical real world application.
That's correct.
So that's great. How do the hours that are taken in high school transfer to TCAT hours? I understand you guys now have an adult program for transportation and logistics. So if a student spends that seat hour time in high school, how does that help them in that process of obtaining that technical certificate?
Well, the one thing that I try to explain to people, the difference in high school, is we meet every other day for an hour and a half. So we do all of our time that we do in the classroom, we count that. And what happens is there's time when they get to the college that they have to have a certain amount of time in order to get there to finish the program at the college. If you were to take all 3 classes, I do 3 classes, a foundations class, which is the first year, where they learn the foundation of logistics, and then we do the level 1 class, and then we have a level 2 class. If you were to complete all 3 levels of the class for all 3 years, you would end up completing a third of the adult program.
Oh, great.
So the adult program, it takes a year at the college to do the program. If you were to go from the high school and then transition to the college, when you got there, you would basically have almost a third.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay, a third.
That's a huge benefit for the student
Correct.
And the employer, because they're going to get students prepared to go into the workforce sooner, which we all know right now that's a big push, because we have employers that can't find entry-level employees.
Correct. And by having these things to add to their resume or their application, any of these certifications make them look like they're more ambitious and actually more available. They've already learned these things, so they must have the skill, or they would not have been able to get the certification.
They're better prepared.
Correct.
What advice would you give students and parents interested in getting into this program?
I would say some people say, well, what is logistics and distribution?
Right.
And I would say to you that we do have on the TCAT website, there is some information about the different programs that we offer. When you go in and drill down, you can click on each individual program. It talks about how long the program is, what's involved in the program, what certifications you would receive. And there is a little bit of a biography about what the program is.
Right.
I think if somebody wanted to, they had questions and they were like, I really need to know a little more about this, I think that they could probably call the college and they could speak to one of our counselors and they could educate them on the different kinds of things in the program. Or they could, send an email to Upperman High School,
Right.
to Christina Jones, and I could get back with them and kind of give them a heads up. But I would say a lot of the information is on the internet, on the programs for TCAT.
Okay. Well, again, Christina, we really thank you for stopping by the Future Ready broadcast studio today. And we thank you for all you do for our students in Putnam County to get them future ready in supply chain management dual enrollment at Upperman High School. Thank you.